Hey guys, it's Jen, and I feel like it's been quite a long time since I just did a straight up makeup tutorial. This is the look I have been rocking lately. I love it so much because it's just very fresh, very natural. It's sort of like a really youthful, no makeup, like a little bit more elevated though, and really fast to do, which I always appreciate. One thing I do want to mention is my eyelids do happen to be uneven lately. It just kind of goes on and off whether I have one crease, two creases, no creases, however my eyelids are doing that day. I also feel like this particular makeup is especially friendly for that because I'm not using any sort of actual eyeshadow or eyeliner in this makeup. In fact, I didn't use any brushes at all, which is really great if you're just trying to put on something really quick in the morning just to have a little pick-me-up. You don't have a lot of time to spend. This is just really great for all of that. So if you want to see how I do this look, then keep watching. So the first step I'm going to do is use concealer. This is actually a step I don't even always do if I feel like I need a little bit of coverage, but honestly lately I've been just embracing some of my freckles and dark spots and everything, so it's not something that you have to do if you're not typically a concealer person. Depending on how much sleep I've gotten, sometimes I feel like my dark circles get a little bit worse, but I think the key to the concealer step is to just not overdo it. I just really want to keep things light. You might not want to even do any on your forehead, and then I kind of like getting these little redness areas, and then I just do a little dot where I have really obvious pigmentation. And then I'm literally just going to pat this in. I have a little bit of creasing here, and one tip with the eyes is I don't want to get too much concealer in there because sometimes any kind of liquid products will sort of cake in that line. And because we're wanting a really natural look, I just try to avoid going higher than that line in general. For reference, I'm using the Rare Beauty concealer in 230N. I really like this concealer. A little bit goes a really long way. If you want to do this kind of method, one thing that I really recommend is to choose a concealer that matches your skin tone versus one that's too light. That way, as you're just sort of spot concealing here and there, it'll just blend in with your skin, and that means you don't have to use as much product, which I personally really like. I do like seeing natural skin texture and natural skin glow. You could always just do a really light layer of foundation if you don't have much discoloration, but I actually find I use less product when I'm just using concealer. And then I can also build up the coverage anywhere where I do want to do a little bit more covering. You know, that also depends on your skin type. My biggest skin concern is a lot of this unevenness because of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. This is just what works really well for me to still let my natural skin shine through. So next I'm going to use blush, and I'm using a liquid blush because I just find it to, again, give that really natural look. I'm going to use this not just on my cheeks, but I'm also putting it across my nose. And you can even put a touch of this on your eyelids as well. But sometimes with red products, you have to make sure to be careful around the eyes because they're not always eye safe. As a little tip for those people who like to use like lipstick on your eyes, it's not always safe, so just check with the product and make sure that's okay before you do that. This is another one of my favorite products. This is called Bliss. It's a Rare Beauty. I literally just do the teeniest little dot on each cheek, and that is usually enough to cover my whole face. I just want to tap this in. And usually I concentrate my blush more toward the diagonal, but with these liquid blushes, I like bringing it more toward the center of my face. I just feel like it gives more of a youthful, sun-kissed kind of glow. Next, I'm moving on to a bit of highlighter. Once again, this is from Rare Beauty. You can just use whatever kind of liquid highlighter you have. I tend to, again, go for a liquid or cream product over a powder. You're going to get a more natural glow look. Also, because we're just layering liquid products, they tend to lay on top of each other a little bit better than mixing powder with liquid in different layers. This one is called Mesmerize. It's sort of a rosy liquid highlight shade. I put a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use my fingertips so that I can really pinpoint where I want it to go. So I'm applying this to the top of my cheekbones right here and just sort of blending that up into my temple area. And then also at the tip of my nose, down the bridge, the top of my cupid's bow right here. And then I like adding this to my brow bone right here. And if you wanted to, also to the center of your eyes. If you add it just to the ball of your eyes right here, it'll create a sort of dimension because the light will bring those areas forward. And instead of using any kind of shadow on the rest of my eye, it automatically will give it a little bit of dimension. To set my face, instead of using a traditional colored powder foundation, I'm actually using a sunscreen powder. I really like this one. I've used it for years. It is by Supergoop and it's the Invincible Setting Powder, 100% mineral. It says it's SPF 45, so it does give a little bit more sun protection. I will say I already put on sunscreen just with my normal skincare routine before starting, but if we're going to use a powder, I would much rather prefer one that gives me a little bit more sun protection, especially because a lot of foundations have sunscreen in them, but we're not using foundation today, so any extra layers of sun protection is kind of a win in my book. So I'm just going to tap this in the center of my forehead, just in the areas that I get shiny, around my nose, around my chin area. And then you can also use this to set where you had a little bit of concealer under the eyes. Just don't go too much on top of your cheeks where that highlight is. That way you still get a little bit of that glow. For my eyes, I'm going to keep this so simple. I almost feel like the most important thing that you put on your face during this time, you wear a mask on and off. So I really like putting a lot of the attention on my eyebrows. This is one of my favorite eyebrow pencils of all time. It's by Benefit. It's called the Goof Proof Brow Pencil. Their precision one is also really amazing, but I like this one because it's a little thicker and it just goes by so fast. I can literally do my entire face of makeup in about 5 minutes with this method. So I make sure to try to define the top and bottom lines, and then I just fill the rest in really fast. I just flip it over, use the spoolie side, and then blur any kind of harsh edges. One thing I really like to do is I line up the spoolie with the direction that my eyebrow hairs are growing, and it just helps to get a really clean, even line. Next, I'm going to skip any kind of eyeshadow, eyeliner, all of that. I'm going straight into curling my lashes and adding a little bit of mascara. I really like this for days where I'm not wearing a ton of makeup because it just seems to keep any kind of smudging at bay. It's really easy to remove at the end of the day, and I feel like my eyes look a little bit more natural and really awake if I just focus the attention on my lashes versus trying to have like a really thick winged liner. For a lot of us Asian American women, I feel like we've been conditioned in a way to really rely on that black heavy eyeliner, and I find it really refreshing just to switch things up every once in a while and just focus on lashes. It just gives a really fresh kind of look. Next, I'm going to apply my mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras of all time. It's really good when I'm just hanging around the house because it doesn't smudge like at all on me, and that's so unusual if you have Asian kind of eyelids where the lids just rub each other a lot. This is such a great mascara. It's the Heroin Make Long and Curl Mascara, super waterproof, and I think this little tool is my game changer because my eyes, when I curl my lashes, I try to get as much length as I can out of them, and I always end up smudging my mascara on my lids. So this is a little mascara guard that I love using to try to keep the mascara as I'm applying it from hitting my eyelid. So let's see if I can do this while holding a mirror at the same time. Usually I'm just, leaning toward a still mirror. We're gonna try to get these lashes to look as big as possible. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, good. In the absence of actual eyeshadow, sometimes I do like using a second coat of mascara, but if you're a one coat girl, feel free to do one, keep it light and airy, or do two. You can just try and experiment and see if adding a little bit more mascara makes up for the lack of eyeliner. Oh, and I usually find I only really need the guard on the first layer. The second layer is a little bit easier to just apply it. I forgot to do this earlier, but I'm adding a little bit more highlight just to the inner corners of my eyes. This helps to open up the eyes, and I feel like it looks a little bit more youthful as well. So you can see the difference here versus here. And then I'm just going to finish off this look with a little glowy balm. This is my favorite one right now. It's from Glow Recipe. It's the Lip Pop in the watermelon shade. And I just think this is such a cute pink color. And this literally just feels like lip balm to me, so it's very comfortable to wear on a daily basis. So this is the finished look. I have loved wearing this lately. It just comes off so effortless, and I also find at the end of the day, it's not running all down my face either, and it just wears nicely and very naturally, very skin friendly throughout the day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you have any suggestions of future looks you want me to do, let me know that down in the comments, and feel free to subscribe to see more of my videos. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!